Ever since the beginning, Twitch has been the go-to place for online streaming. It was first meant only for video games. It quickly grew into other niches and conquered the entire market. Due to the rapid increase in popularity, Amazon acquired it in 2014, from where the massive growth only continued. But just as quickly as they shaped the streaming space into what it is today, they started to lose their grip on the industry. Lately, they have been making questionable choices that competitors are using to catch up to them. But how bad did these decisions have to be for such a fall from grace? We're gonna be looking at the worst ones and how others use them to enter the streaming wars. Their first mistake is ignorance towards the well-being of creators. Twitch has the lowest revenue split, with only 50% of earnings going to the streamer. They have also been accused of favoritism, as they would do anything to favor certain personalities.
I mean, this seems like some pick and choose bullshit.
While barely even paying attention to others. For example, when Kai Cenat broke the record for the most subscribers, allegedly making Twitch about $15 million, he barely received any congratulations, and even worse, wasn't even offered a contract.
It better be a contract in here. Oh!
So a streamer has to go through all these inconsistencies just to get paid less, with Twitch's only excuse for this being,
we think that benefits you in terms of the community experience that it creates on your channel.
True, Twitch does currently have the best community, but it's still a weak excuse for not giving the creators the treatment they deserve. Now this is just the beginning on Twitch's mistakes, but the ones that capitalized on this one was Kick. At first glance, the two actually look almost identical, with Kick being founded so recently, they didn't build the interface from the ground up, but instead used Amazon's AWS. This means that they can use the same system Twitch is built on by paying Amazon a fee. But wait, if the service is owned by Amazon, doesn't that mean that they can just...
And if Twitch really wanted, they could just stop giving these services to Kick. But right now they're just sitting back like, thanks, I guess.
Can Twitch actually kill Kick with a single press of a button? To understand this, we have to know what Kick is trying to achieve and why it has gotten them in so much controversy. The owners of the online crypto casino Stake cooperated with the streamer Trainwrecks to find the service in late 2022. Their goal was to create a direct competitor to Twitch with a looser moderation and a sky-high revenue split with 95% of earnings going to the creator. At first, the site attracted people looking to gamble or benefit from the less strict moderation. And as we will see is the case with every competitor, Kick also looked to recruit people that had a good reason to leave Twitch, which usually meant they were banned. Their first major signing was Aiden Ross, who, because of his actions, further pushed the site to be viewed as an unhinged version of Twitch.
Go on kick.com, you can get away with anything.
Despite that, they are slowly shaking off their reputation with signings such as Bruce Dropemoff, Grandmaster Hikaru, Amoraf, and of course, the biggest streamer XQC, who alone reportedly cost them $100 million.
Anyone knows that boy? I don't know, he's just so soy.
And here is where the controversy lies. Kick is run on money made from gambling, and the site could be aware of introducing more users to the service.
I think the goal is to use Kick as a marketing tool to make Stake bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so if Kick is bigger, presumably the marketing efforts for Stake are bigger, presumably more people gamble money, and then this is just a marketing expense for gambling.
Many people strongly believe that they will start advertising Stake, even if these claims aren't based on anything. In reality, it's quite the opposite actually, as the Kick CEO seems passionate about the streaming landscape and wants to genuinely make a good competitor to Twitch. They listen to the community and added a way of being able to toggle off gambling streams, and even swore that the site will never openly advertise Stake. These changes aren't the end-all be-all, but as of now, the site seems to be proving everyone wrong. Furthermore, the argument that Kick is worse just for being founded by gambling money quickly falls apart, as other companies aren't any better. When comparing Amazon and Stake, it's just a case of would you rather support abusing your workers or abusing people's weaknesses with gambling. I'm not trying to downplay the issue of gambling, but Amazon isn't looking much better. Despite this, the problem doesn't start or end with Kick. Stake advertises its services elsewhere as they sponsor Everton, Alfa Romeo Racing, UFC, and even Drizzy Drake.
Embarrassing!
They reach way more eyes than they could on Kick, but no one seems to mind and continues to paint Kick as the problem. If you want to be mad, you should be mad at the entire problem, not the streaming website that has the same owners. The arguing and moral disputes will settle down, but the issue still remains. What exactly are the owners planning to do with their platform?
So I guess the question is that the case? And I think they're the only ones who will know the answer to that. Private company, like we'll never have that info.
If they are genuinely interested in making a site with a good intention that is helped off the ground with gambling, that is a net positive for everyone. They're currently pushing towards prioritizing viewer satisfaction and streamers being comfortable. So if it keeps going this way, there's nothing to fear, but people making a scene out of something they haven't really looked into. But hosting a streaming site isn't all that profitable, especially with such revenue splits and spendings. But so many assume Kick will eventually turn towards advertising gambling more directly. Being exposed to the activity may even motivate some to try it out for themselves. If the platform will transform into what is essentially a gambling ad, it's not just wrong, but downright evil. People are working and streaming on the site that put their hearts and soul into making a creative space with great content. If advertising gambling is the motivation behind trying to make the site better, it's extremely deceiving. Only time can tell how the Kick story will end, but for now, we seem to be getting the good ending. It's currently up to the individual to decide, but can Twitch decide for us?
Yeah, they're using Amazon Web Services, not Twitch Web Services. Those are two separate things.
Firstly, Kick isn't making Twitch money. The service costs go directly to Amazon's infinite pool of funds. AWS is for Amazon a moneymaker, as their shipping business is based more on growing the company and their control. The web service is actually extremely popular, as sites like Netflix and even Stake use it, making Kick just another customer. So as long as they don't do anything radical or get sued for breaking copyright laws, they should be comfortable. Even if they wanted to, Amazon is unable to unplug Kick, as that would endanger their brand image. Many sites would refrain from using their service if they could just be denied access at any given moment. Even more important is that shutting down competition in this way is illegal. With Amazon already being heavily monitored by federal agencies for vastly spreading their control, they would not be pleased with the company shutting down one of their main competitors in the streaming space. Despite not being in danger of getting shut down, Kick will remain in Twitch's shadow for a long time, which they are completely aware of, stating that they know that growth takes time and that they are willing to improve throughout the whole process. The people at Kick are confident that they can introduce groundbreaking features and compete with the best. If the promises are anything to go by, Kick could be the next big streaming platform. But as of now, they're still ranked low. Kick is being seen as a serious competitor, mainly because the community is there organically. After a big personality goes offline, there are still many smaller streamers that people can go watch, while this was exactly the struggle for sites like Mixer. The main issue was that when Shroud or Ninja went offline, the site felt deserted. With no one else to watch, the viewers felt forced to switch to a new site instead of slowly migrating there on their own. Twitch still has by far the biggest community, but the management of such a community is where their second biggest flaw appears. They possess a stricter and sometimes unreasonable ban system that is very inconsistent. Some of the biggest creators have been randomly banned several times, often without any solid reasons. What is even worse is that a relatively inoffensive action is often met with a much longer ban than something extremely inappropriate. When a streamer called Gideon directed his viewers to go spam L+ ratio in Pokemon's chat, he rightfully faced a 2-week ban. That was soon randomly extended to a permanent ban, which starts to look a bit sketchy, because while inappropriate, it was just a childish copypasta. The punishment gets blown out of proportion when considering that a streamer performing certain adult actions was only faced with a one big ban and continues to stream to this day. There have been many more examples of favoritism, which nicely reflects some of Twitch's staff, as recently their creative director joined the broadcast and started gaslighting a streamer, which made him too stressed to continue streaming. An even more famous example is the time they installed an unstable and power-abusing lady that identified as a deer to be the community ambassador for trans people, which is leaving many to either lose their trust or feel the need to migrate elsewhere. While most have a better system than Twitch, a good representation of a site that fulfills the need for a more radical or political content is Rumble. They actually started off as an alternative to YouTube, but soon started dipping their toes in the streaming space as well. The website hosts both live streams and videos, with most of the creators either covering politics or being one of those washed up attention seekers. A lot of those were also previously banned from other platforms, so they end up there as the only place allowing them.
And it doesn't feel like one of those situations where you've got like when Sneako's like, watch me on Rumble, and it's like, what the fuck is a Rumble?
Rumble will never fight for the top spot, as the service just doesn't appeal to all audiences. They have cancel-free, right-wing policies, which allows them to dominate in their own respective niche, but hardly reach outside of it. Twitch's next biggest flaw is discoverability. People discovering a small streamer through their system is almost impossible.
You don't grow on Twitch.
You don't grow.
That's not how it works.
Okay. All right.
What you do is you grow on another platform.
Okay.
And then you bring them to Twitch.
They recently reversed their decision and finally announced a scrolling feature meant for discovering new clips and streams. But as of now, the site mainly focuses on viewers clicking on streams that they will watch for an extended period of time, while endorsing discoverability through other sites, as they allow co-streaming on sites like TikTok. Streaming simultaneously on two sites is only allowed if Twitch doesn't see the other site as a direct competitor. Such is the case with sites like TikTok or Facebook. Live streams on those platforms appear in the recommended feed mixed in with all the short-form content, meaning that people are way less likely to watch your streams for a long time. This is also exactly why you see some people doing very questionable stuff, as they would go to almost any measure for a viewer to not click off. Live streaming on sites like TikTok or Instagram is meant for a more laid-back way to interact with your audience, but the people behind Facebook took a different approach, as they have been pushing Facebook gaming for a couple of years now. Due to the issue of viewers not watching for a longer time and Facebook being so weird for younger people, the feature didn't take off. The site is still a good option for small streamers, but that's about it. This is why most people resort to using these apps for posting clips that may drive viewers to your Twitch stream, where they are more likely to stick around. Twitch often seems like a site that is lost and doesn't progress much. Currently, the only advantage they still have is the big community that visits the site every day, but they aren't alone in this. Their biggest competitor, YouTube, is the second most viewed website on the entire internet. Compared to Twitch, they offer a higher revenue split, fewer ads, and streams are implemented into a YouTube channel, which any streamer most likely has anyways. Their treatment of the site is still far from perfect, but they are more than willing to update and innovate, while also being responsive to their community. But YouTube's priority isn't live streaming, so currently, the entire thing feels a bit weird. Sure, there's a high volume of people visiting the site, but most of those aren't going to click on a live stream. Those appear in between videos, which leads to more discoverability, but they are also held to the same standard as a YouTube video, meaning there has to be an incentive for the viewer to click. The stream has to be a bit more thought through and organized, unlike on Twitch where you are able to just go live. This, combined with the worse chat and some other lacking features, is what's currently holding YouTube back, but if they manage to get those technicalities in place, they can take over the industry. It just depends on how much they're willing to invest in the live streaming part of their website. They are already working with some of the biggest creators, so all the site needs is an investment of time and resources. As of now, YouTube is the streaming wars winner due to their high number of channels and audiences. Twitch is still winning in the gaming space, but that could easily change in the future. Many even predict that they will cease to exist in a couple of years. It's quite possible that this won't be the case due to their size and connection with the culture, but they will most likely keep declining. In terms of us, the consumers, competition breeds innovation, and in the competitive space, sites will do their best to create new features which improve the viewer's experience. Twitch either has to change, or viewers and streamers will keep plummeting to a better site. But streaming platforms aren't the only ones doing everything to keep their fans.